Dun, dun, dun. Okay. And now, the Luis's host, we are officially opening High Vibe channeling for September 4th, 2025. Yay.
Welcome.
And thank you all for joining. It should be a lively happening. And since it's about 7 after, unless anyone else has objectives. Ooh, I'm going to turn the, if you guys can still hear me, I won't turn my AC down. No sense sweating if I don't have to.
We hear you well, and I guess Usol is still the main connection for the beginning of the session.
And they are ready. And then when they came through 2 days ago, they brought in the hybrid children too. So we'll see how this goes. And I have no idea what they're going to say, and they are unpredictable. Other than I know they'll be energetic. So
Of course.
It is an interesting thing to wait for humans to allow us to come in. For we could be with you lots of times and insert ourselves into each of your days to add a little thrill or bump you up or to amaze and frighten your friends. But it is a worthwhile endeavor, or we would not be here to share ourselves with you, sharing your time with us. It is truly a celebratory event on many levels. And you have all taken steps to be part of these dramatic changes which are coming and being furthered by all of your efforts in this way. It is certainly a very joyous thing, and it is progressing many beings well on the path to ascending into a galactic traveling neighborhood, we will say. Now, our only message for you for this day is to continue to look inward for your answers. When you ask yourselves rhetorical questions, listen for the answer, for it will indeed come to you if you are open and expecting, and it may not be what you expect. But that is true for almost all of your decisions in your physical reality. You merely must ask. And if your higher self will not tell you, then ask us and we will come in and we will tell you. Because if it is relevant for you, then there is no reason why you cannot know. It does not matter what it is. Now, we are not apt to help people cheat on their tests in schoolwork or things of that nature, and we are not really equipped to help you with your taxes other than in an energetic way. But there are lots of other issues, challenges, questions, and even some things where you may not know about them, and you can just ask for things you do not know about. And then open yourselves up and see what comes in, see who comes in, see how they come in, feel that change and connection within you. Learn to discern those different energies which come through, for those energies indeed are a playful expression of other beings. This is all a very joyous engagement. This is a thrill, a loving exchange. And we hope that you look at it in that way as well. Because this is like opening up a surprise package with something inside that you really enjoy, that you have always wanted, so to speak. For when we get to connect with you, we not only get to share more of ourselves, but we get to interact and observe along with dozens or hundreds of other beings and energies. Not only your responses, but your thought processes, your histories, and on several different levels, on the energetic level, and even depending on the being, on you making your own sacred circuits for your own special high vibrational moments. Now, you may not have been aware of that, but those moments that bring you to blubbering tears because the love just overflows, that memory is marked by a geometric notation in your life history. So, any beings who wish to experience those moments can just look for that little marker, we will say. And you have many of those that you have built. All of those very intense emotions are signals and kind of like pinned posts on your life review. For it is those strong emotions which you came, one of the reasons why you came to this realm, this density, why you have braved these challenges and in ways allowed your physical forms to experience suffering and hopefully very minor suffering and other low vibrational responses as other beings thought and sought to teach you more about yourself to help you remember, which is not news to any of you, for you are all progressed far along and you are all teachers in your own right, and others look up to you even if they do not buy into your particular belief systems, we will say, but that changes them because that energy rings true in their higher self. And that truth will summon up a curiosity, or maybe it will loosen some of those hard beliefs and shake them loose enough where they may be released and replaced with other ones which work a little better. Now, we have been rambling on for quite some time, and not near as many jokes are in there as we would have preferred. But we will open up for your questions, and hopefully they will be enticing for other beings so that you can intrigue them enough so that they will pop their head in and see what you have to think.
Jennifer, please.
Hello, Usol. Thank you for already answering my question, but I will ask another one. I have had some synchronistic events involving unicorn beings, and I was just wondering if there is any way that I could connect better with them.
We will ask you and make a clarification. All of your events are synchronous. But do you believe that can happen?
Yes.
There's your answer. Because even if those creatures, and we're not saying that they don't, because they do, but even if they didn't exist, the fact that you can think of them and have an emotional attachment and thoughts about them will create them. So there is nothing that you cannot think of. And as Bashar has said, if you can think of it, it already exists. Now, there are always things brought in anew. And just because it exists does not mean it has been actualized, although that is a very slippery concept to get through to the 3D Earth humans or 4D Earth humans, because there is more to it than just that. It is not really so dichotomous, we will say. And as far as your unicorns, have you asked if they wish to connect with you?
Yes, I got a little whisper from them, that I
Well,
wrote down.
that is a good start because depending on the human, they may be a bit timid because there is so much skepticism. They don't want to be approaching others in their vulnerable states and then leave in a near huff when they are not honored and respected as they would prefer. For instance, your cats, in your experience, they do not care if you do not honor them, for they are self-confident and they know that they are superior to all other life on your planet. But the unicorns have had so much of doubt that from humans, it makes it a little bit tough to want to go into that room of experience, we will say. If you were if people were telling other people that you had issues which were not true, and you walk into a room knowing that everyone believed that, it would affect your energy. And that is kind of the effect that we are sensing in this. Now, are they going to show up in your physical reality? Not in this one. Now, are there other creatures which may have some of that energy? We're not saying that it is impossible, and we're not saying that it is present. We are merely throwing that question out. So we hope that the point of our answer was the tip of the unicorn horn for you, and it did service to answering your question.
Yes, very much. Thank you.
And don't
Christiana.
hunt, just ask for them.
Hello, and thank you for the co-creation.
And thank you for being awake.
Yes, my pleasure. You mentioned life review, and I have been thinking that as each of us try to put puzzle pieces together and watch our lives, that is kind of a life review already that we're doing now, isn't it? And I was wondering, how does that compare to the life review that we do after we leave the physical?
There are several parts to your question. And a life review is different from your perspective as it is from the higher perspective. So we highly recommend that you ask your higher self, unless you have some other entities that you are intimate with which can relay that information to you. But ask for a life review. Now, this will help, and from that level, you can be sure that all of the thoughts which pop into your head need to be addressed. And in most cases, we would like to, we're going to say in significant amount of cases, there are time after time after time after time of triggers, and all of those triggers will need to be addressed. So this could be a very emotional and energetically taxing time for you, because you have to dig into those emotional places inside you, and you have to find them and honor them and love them into a higher vibration so that they no longer sit and disturb or prevent your full resonance, we will say, of your vibrational qualities. So, does that work for your answer?
It does. Thank you very much.
Okay. Then we're glad we stopped there. But no, but please do your life review, and don't try to do it yourself. Just make sure, even if you have to take a list and make one, but make sure that you address all of those little things, because, or there's some of them may not be little, but as they come up because they're important, because there is something there. And that will increase the health of your body because you will remove these things which do not serve it. So, yes, we recommend that you do your life review, and it may take some time and it may take weeks to get all of this out because your higher self knows what you need and what you can handle and what is best for you. So you will be spoon fed all of those triggers until you can digest them properly. No sense filling you up and making you sick.
Mm. Sounds like a homework for us then.
You, but it's it's not labor intensive. You merely have to say, I would like to do a life review. Can you help me with that? I'll wait here. And then
Right.
sit back and get ready and have tissues and have something that you can release, like a punching pillow or something, in case you need to ditch some extra energy.
Thank you very much for the tips.
And sweet dreams.
So the concept of the life review triggers in me the concept of time. And in looking at that, I have a view of time that is developing that basically says something along the lines that the future is a frequency or a field of frequencies. And as a result of that, what I need to be doing is to tuning to that set of frequencies that define the future. Can you comment on that?
Since you all know that time is simultaneous, we will not address that aspect of the future, but we will say that it is highly beneficial to see your future self with increased attributes or accomplishments than that you currently do not possess. And it is that frequency and establishing that, as you know, physical action, emotional content, and desire, expressed desire. And that will help manifest. Now, on the future, it never arrives. It's a train that never comes, and everyone is waiting for it. But you can imagine it being at the station, and you can load up all of your stuff on it, just like you can do with your future self. Imbue that future self with all of the pleasant characteristics and successes and accomplishments that you prefer. Therefore, you are helping to bring that into your reality. But in effect, you're never going to catch that carrot and the stick of future time. Now, if you were outside of time, then you could see all kinds of different realities, and you could pick and choose which one you might like to inspect. But from this point of view, you just have to keep activating what you're activating and keep doing the fine job that you're doing. You are all vibrating very highly, and it is a we would not be here if that was not the case, because the we don't wish to say names, but the luggards in the race to ascension, which are not really holding anyone back, but are doing their job to prevent success from coming too quickly. That is a bit of a reconciliation, we will say, but it is coming along nicely.
Thank you. Miles, please.
So along the lines of what you were talking about earlier, and this ascension process. So the ascension process itself is an inside job. It's not something that something's going to happen outside of us. but it's going to be a accumulation of baby steps that we take continuously. For instance, the life review is a very, very powerful tool. And by taking these baby steps, we will bring ourselves into that place of ascension. But it will not happen. And when that happens, that will be reflected in our world. But it's not going to be reflected in our world till we've done the work inside ourselves first. Is that correct?
We wish for you to replace the word ascension with unification, for that is really what it is. Because once that tipping point that is so prominently spread around in metaphysical circles is reached, then a unified consciousness will take hold on your planet. Now, it will deepen. There will be other layers of unification which come through, because in ways each species is already unified with Mother Earth and with each other and with their local environments. But mankind does not flow in general, many do, with the natural energies of the earth. Mankind is almost alone in acting out against earth preservation and preservation of the consciousness and assisting and helping where they can. So that ascension is going to happen as more and more beings are unified together in honoring and respecting all consciousness on your planet. That means befriending all of the little critters. That means having relationships with trees and plants and flowers and dirt and rocks and streams and sky and wind. There are so many opportunities for connection which have not come yet. And those can be referred to as the baby steps. But it is not really a hard line. It is more of a, we don't wish to say like, well, we will say it's more of a friction, and you are a match, and you are all rubbing friction on this old time match. And when enough of you rub on that friction to get that unity will light and the fire will spread all over the earth. And it will pick up all of those who are close to being ready for that unification and lift them up. And it will lift up those who are not that close into readiness to ascend further, should they choose to do so.
Well, that was quite beautiful, and I love the unification. Yeah, it's a big part of my life when I do grounding or any other work, even working with our friends, the insects, or anything or anybody else, to find that to relate to them from that our joint godhood. And recognize that they're just as important as I am, and I'm no more important than anyone else. Thank you. That was magnificent.
We appreciate your appreciation, and that was well said on your end. Now, we can throw some more details on that unification, because if you think about it, you have to unify as a people. You have to unify with your planet. You have to unify as a planet. You have to unify with hybrid children, with the Yaels, with the Pleiadians. And you have to unify energetically with the other entities which are already on your planet, which you cannot perceive in your limited sensory abilities. So there are many, many, many layers of unification, and each one is a beautiful thing, and each one will raise up the vibrational levels higher and higher of the humans and the earth collective as well, so that even more doors for further unity will be open. It is truly a glorious ascension if you look at it in step-by-step ladder form. But in actuality, it has already happened. We are just enjoying the unfoldment. And thank you all for your help. You're all stars in that show, but you get no residuals other than happiness.
It's a beautiful path, the path of unification, but it's also a very long path, meaning we start the connection that unifies us with every one of those that you have identified and beyond. But the merging, there's a long path that we have to follow.
Now.
Yeah.
We hear your beliefs, and you want to stretch this out. Now, your adjective for the linear expression of this occurrence and unfoldment. Remember, things are accelerating. Things are going much, much faster. And those time frames, as you refer to them, are more or less irrelevant because you guys won't know when you're ready until it happens. It's not like you're going to wake up one day and somebody says, "Oh, look, somebody sent me a text message. I get to meet the Pleiadians today." No, you will go and then all of a sudden you will just know. And it depends on the person how you react. But can you imagine, and we hope you can imagine, that you are sitting and you are doing something and then telepathically you are told it is time to meet and you are given directions where to go. And if you are exceedingly excited, then that will happen. And if you are fearful, it will happen another day. But those messages will come. And if you wish it to be a long time, then that is your choice. And if you are just totally excited, you know you are bringing it in quick time. So we will leave that choice up to you.
Thank you. Anyone else has a question, comment, interaction they would like to have with you? So step
And
forward.
we must say your higher selves are very pleased with all of your efforts. They have done a masterful job of being masters of the job.
Hello,
And
I have um, it's kind of a question, if I can find the right terms. Um,
should we
when
take a
you,
break?
oh, well, I was, I, I was going to mention unification. Um, I find that I can become more on that level with others by sending them a lot of love from, um, like a neutral standpoint. If maybe I don't agree with something that they might believe in, and I was just wondering if that is the way that we should really view a lot of the different and opposing energies that are here, um, like just from a point of neutrality and I'm sorry, neutrality and non-judgment.
Well, that is always going to be the or a fine way of assessing your reality. It will differ from person to person, but the in
in your reality, the expectations are the key. And the beliefs are the key. And that is not a surprise to any of you. So it is that focus which is paramount. And although we do not sense that that directly addresses the question, it is relevant to it. Is there more that you would like us to expand on that a little more?
Well, when I'm met with um, others who have a lot of anger about world events or fear about it, and it's difficult for me to meet them where they're at because I don't have that anger. I'm more neutral about it. So I try to, meet them where they're at, but I find it difficult, to get around their anger or the things they might believe and mostly fear about the world, basically.
And we are telling you that you do not meet them where they are. You are recognizing and allowing them. And you are viewing, and rightly so, and kudos to you. You are viewing these events not from a 3D physical level, which gives you the objectivity that you have earned. That is, in Sethian terms, the framework 2 level, where everything is planned and worked out, which manifests in framework 1, which is where the 3D versions of all of you reside at some point in some fashion until you get to firm 4D. And if that was happening, then we would be celebrating that open contact. So keep going, you're getting there. But yes, that is an important aspect, and that gives you that extra perspective from the higher realms that you can recognize that these behaviors have a purpose but are not for me. And you can send them the energetic love, just like you have said. It's a wonderful thing. And that is the best way to view all of these situations, because you can always drop back into your densified reality and feel it then, whether it is intense love or pain or anger or jealousy or any of those things. But from that higher level, you can appreciate them without being affected by them. That is part of the recognize but do not participate message that the channeler has had drummed into him for years. And he has applied it for the most part. And thank you for that question, because it will help many others if they are drawn to listen. And we hope they are. Was that good enough for you?
Oh, yes, thank you. I really love that. Thank you.
And we understand that that is from your objective point of view.
Do you have an additional message for our group and the collective?
We would like to mention that although it has been reinforced time and time again, talk to your water, not only before you consume it, and maybe not even in the just in the shower, but in general. It is a huge resource. It has memories of every event it has participated in. And that sounds really crazy from a physicalized point of view, because it could have been steam or a piece of an iceberg or anything. A rock that came from way out in outer space and melted in your atmosphere. It could be anything, but use that water like you would use a non-physical Google search. Just ask it. Now, imbuing that water with love energy is something that many of you already do, and we certainly approve of that. And we wish that more people would do that. We wish there were community areas where moon water would be available and everybody would just drink it as a matter of course and go through ceremonies to imbue it with the finest love and most healing properties available. But there's water in your atmosphere, not only just in your bodies. And we're not saying you have to walk around all the time with just water on your mind. But that is one of the things that we wish that humans would do more, is look at water as a conscious resource, as a friend, as a benefactor, and not only use it to improve your bodily and spiritual health, for it can transmute all of those energies. And when you hydrate, then when the human resonance hits you and other things which you may not be aware of, it will help you transmute those energies into productive parts of taking care of your biological form. Now, we don't think that that is much of a surprise, but we do wish to remind people of that because it really helps. Now, that wasn't exactly the humorous note that we were planning on departing on. So, if anyone has another question or comment, maybe we can work it out then.
Anyone that wants to step forward, please.
Thank you. As I was telling the group earlier, I was out all night last night waving at ships. And there was a great joy. I could feel playfulness and great joy, and they were doing even some patterns, and we were laughing a lot, and I'm sure they were laughing in the ships as well. And I was thinking a lot of them were hybrid children, but I wanted to ask if you could maybe share if there were other beings also.
Well, of course there are other beings. There are beings all around you. There are beings that are curious about alcohol. There are beings which are curious about humans. There are beings which are curious about Earth and not so curious about humans. So yes, there are lots of other beings, and on some level, we can assure you that some of those beings were waving back. And maybe that was the energy which you felt. Does that satisfy you?
Yes, mostly. Thank you. It is nice to know that they saw us waving and waved back. It's
Well,
really nice.
and any time that you hold a spiritual energy or a being's attention by drawing them in or mentioning or thinking about them, they know. They know. So it will come to you, or they will come to you if they desire to do so. But rest assured, they know. So whenever you say that, you never have to wonder if they heard me or if they see me. The answer is always yes. Now, it may not be relevant for you to have an encounter at that time, but yes, they know.
That is wonderful to know. Thank you very much.
And as a parting gift, we will leave you with a rather bad joke. But how do you get? We will start off. How many low vibrational people does it take to ascend? Thank
None if they don't want to change. They just don't. But everybody else will. They just change worlds. They don't have to ascend. But everybody will at some point. And that was not exactly the punchline that we were envisioning, but we will have to work with this particular human channel to build our repertoire so we may engage in more humorous ways with you all. And thank you all for being with us all. Until next time.
Thank you, Usol.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
That joke was a lot funnier before they tried to tell it.
I
They're
thought it
putting,
was funny.
yeah, they're putting the blame on the delivery. They say it was all on you.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Oh. Oh.
I had a different answer. My answer was 0, but
I thought it was 1.
Well, good.
It all works out.
And they were
Yeah.
having fun. They were having a little party on their end, and they were not alone. But I'm shielded. Almost every time I get some idea on the other channeling that I do. Like, with the hybrid children, I get visualizations and energies, but on them, I get nothing. It's like it's like they're just standing at a podium and I'm in the audience and they're just talking and I have no idea what's going on. But I have some idea of their reactions. I don't know if those come through, how well those come through or not, but yeah.
Yeah,
And like Miles, I was really glad they call Ascension Unification. I like that. That was cool.
yeah, that was great. Hey, Chuck, it's really great to see you.
Yeah. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Chuck,
How is
can
Chuck
I
doing?
ask?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Can
go
I
ahead,
ask
go
if
ahead.
that's a unicorn behind you?
Yes,
It is. Yes.
Okay.
Nice synchronicity.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
he here were you here for the unicorn question, Chuck?
No, I
No.
got off work just a little while ago, so I came home.
Okay. Well,
Actually,
thanks
I
for
came
stopping
via
by
the
when you could.
store
So
first.
so
Yeah,
so
yeah.
maybe Jennifer can repeat her question. And
Yeah.
maybe
Let's hear that unicorn question.
the
Yes.
unicorn
Well, I
comes.
have had a lot of synchronistic events about unicorns. After I noticed in my mind's eye out in the tree in the yard, this is normal for me. I can see things a lot. These rainbow streamers coming off the trees, and it made me think of unicorns. And I thought, I wonder if it's possible to connect with unicorn beings. And then all day long, there are unicorns everywhere, just popping up randomly. And I asked Usol about unicorns, and then you came in, and there's a unicorn.
You gotta love it, right?
Yes.
And I did get the distinct impression that the unicorn is a specific type of energy, which that's the expression which we understand that it expresses itself as in our reality, but it looks like other things in other expressions. So,
I'm getting that impression as well. I'm trying to get into that more and see what it
yeah,
means for me.
it's weird when you start, I guess even when you're able to think of things as energy and it looks like this in our realm, as opposed to, oh, it's this. Well, no, it's not that. It's this looking like this because we're looking at it from here. I think that's a pretty good step.
Well, the way that our brains have developed, in large part as a result of all the things that we have been told as a little kid, your parents, your teachers, and so forth, and the books and the encyclopedias and you name it. We are basically, first and foremost, we categorize things and we go and scan the memory cells that have been built upon all of that. And we say, this is that, and if it doesn't fit, we have, at the beginning, we discount it. Really, this just doesn't fit, throw it away. So consider that, okay? So I would say that all the beings, including the angelic domain, okay, look like the depictions that are over there in the Sixtine Chapel, basically. But from a human perspective, there was something that made it look kind of that way. Basically, the wings itself, it's light. The auric feel around, the head of somebody, it's just an emanation of light, and maybe that something was not physically looking like a humanoid at all. But that's how we categorize things.
Have you ever picked up on auras, Louis?
Have I picked up on auras? Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah. I see.
Yeah.
I used to see that around people all the time, and I know that So, and our energy centers, in kind of in combination form the aura around us, and various individuals can have quite expansive and very colorful ones on occasion as well. But so it's interesting who would pick it up with certain individuals historically. And that would be an interesting thing to kind of get some feelings about.
Well, and as we grow up and